Good day, everybody. It's Captain Juan coming to you from Economy Tackle, Dolphin Paddle Sports in Sarasota, Florida. We've been talking about introducing new tackle. Today we're going to slip off the tackle, get into a couple of nets. A lot of people ask me the difference between a bait hotel or actually catching net. There's different types of net. The most common one is the cast net. We'll go to that later. But I want to show you this one. This net's designed for the more fragile fish, like the ballyhoos, the greenbacks. When you're offshore, you can catch squid with them and not bruise them too bad, so they're good for the table. If you look up right here, that's what they look like. Great nets when you're fishing offshore. You chum them up and just bring your net up, and it really treats your bait really nice. It doesn't bruise them. And sometimes with the cast net, your baits take a beating, which is fine on some baits, not others. But that's one of the ones that I really wanted to introduce. We have them here at the store. They're very popular down south and in the East Coast. Here, not as much, but we want to bring them up here. There's definitely plenty of use for them here. Now, to my right, I have the baits hotels. Bait hotels are designed for after you catch the bait. You should keep those in a place where you have flowing water. Stagnant water, your bait's not going to stay real well in those. Flowing water is good. It makes them go right through, and it keeps the fresh water coming in. Those are designed for small pinfish, shiners, and so forth. You can put blue runners in there, but when you start getting to crabs and so forth, the crabs sometimes can chew right through that net and make their way out. So you got to choose your hotels according to your baits. We can see they're all different sizes. And now when you start getting into the crabs and the more hardier fish that could actually break through the net, we have these. These are wire cages. They're basically just the bait hotels, but they're wire. So the crabs and those cannot bite through them. They last a little longer. And the blue, see, they're all in circle too. You got to make sure that when you make it or you buy your bait hotels, they're round. They have round corners so your bait doesn't take a beating every time they swim around the corner. So you got to make sure you keep that in mind and get the hotel that fits your bait or your fishing style. But remember that drop net that I showed you at the beginning of the video. Phenomenal, good, it works, and it treats your baits really well. We're going to talk about cast nets. I'm just briefly going just so people know the different types of nets that we have. Cast nets. The most common mesh for the nets are 1/4 inch, 3/8. The difference with the 3/8 for me personally is that you get a lot of small fish caught in the mesh. With the 1/4 inch, you don't get as many. You're still going to get some accidental catch and stuck in the net.
Kayak line one.
But you won't have as many with the 1/4 inch. They may sink a little slower because you have that much mesh and you're covering that much. But they're actually much better all around all your nets. A 1/4 inch. They're usually a little bit more expensive. They have more materials. So that's the big difference. And you have flat nets, you have dome nets. There's just too many to sit here and list. But pick your nets. However you're catching your bait, pick it accordingly to where you're going to store them. If you're going to throw your net on the beach and you know your bait bucket only holds a dozen, don't stick 3 dozen in there. They're going to die anyway. Try to release as many as you can and use this. And plus, fresh bait is always best if you're using live bait. I'm going to take you up front and show you some of the pinfish traps that we have. At this time of year, pinfish are not as many as you would get in the summertime, but they're here. They're down, and you see that most of the bait, once the water starts getting cold, they start burying themselves in shallows, mud water. Sometimes you're able to chum them up and then cast on them and put them in the hotels. But that's a little bit more work than just spotting them, shining, and throwing at them. You got to chum them up out of the mud, literally, and then throw the net on them. These guys here have been the most popular pinfish traps that we've had. Very simple, very useful, a lot of fun to catch your own bait, and it saves you a little money. When you do bait those, what I like to do is I like to put them in some kind of container or a plastic bag, poke holes, or smash up your chum in there, and then hang it. If you just throw your chum in there, it'll last you an hour before everything eats it. I also like, if I'm hanging them from a dock or any kind of suspended area, I like to keep it about a ½ inch to an inch off the bottom, maybe a couple inches. The pinfish will still be able to get there, but you avoid catching tons of snails. The snails smell that and they'll fill up your pinfish trap. So if you're suspending your trap, try to put it about an inch above the water, above the ground, I should say. So the snails will be able to crawl up in there, and that'll save you a lot of headaches, and it'll leave fresh bait for the actual bait that you're looking for. Well, with that, I'll let you go, give you something to think about. If there's anything we can help you with here, with any kind of net or keeping your bait, let us know. We got plenty of bait. Come and see us. Take care.